Hi, and welcome to the second video in our data literacy series, where we help you navigate the data journey and improve your data literacy skills. In this video, we're going to focus on the second step of the data journey, which involves exploring, cleaning, and describing data. So keep watching to learn more about this second step in the data journey. Now that you've gathered and organized your data in the first step of the data journey, it's time to take an in-depth look at what you've collected. This step focuses on preparing your data for analysis by cleaning, standardizing, and exploring it. Datasets often need a little bit of cleaning up to make them as easy to use as possible. The data cleaning process involves both the removal of non-data cells in the dataset and also data formatting. So here we have an example of a data set that could use some cleaning and some formatting. It's pretty messy. It's kind of hard to look at and see what we've got going on here. So let's just make this a little more user-friendly. So right off the bat, I can see that we have this blank row right in the middle of our data set. So this is really easy to get rid of. You come over to the Find and Select option over here and go to Special. You'll see there's an option right here for blanks. Just check that, press OK, and the blank row will be highlighted. And then all you have to do is click Delete, and that is taken care of. Now, when I'm looking at this data set, I see a couple of duplicates in here. You can see that all of the data for location D has been entered in twice, as well as location H. So removing duplicates from a data set is really easy. You go to the Data tab, and there's a button right here, Remove Duplicates. Just click that, hit OK. 2 duplicate values have been found. And now you can see we have one unique location D and one unique location H, and those duplicates have been removed. Now let's move on to removing some of the symbols in this data set. You can see we have some X's here and A, we have a double dash down here. When you collect your data from the source, it should always come with a legend explaining what these symbols mean. So for example, quite often X's or dashes represent data that has been suppressed. So you may want to just remove that from your data set just to make sure that these symbols don't interfere with any calculations or formulas or coding that you may be doing with the data. So removing these symbols is really easy. You come back to the Home tab. We're going to go back to the Find and Select dropdown, but this time we're going to replace. You can see here I have NA in there already. Let's just replace NA with a space. And it's going to say that they have found 4 and made those replacements. And you look over here and all the NAs are now gone. So let's do the same thing with X. A space. 7 X's have been replaced. And lastly, let's do the double dash. We'll replace it with a blank. And that double dash is now gone. You can replace your symbols with whatever you want. And that is how you do that there. Now you'll see that we are left with this blank row here, location E, now no longer has any data in it. Now you can remove this row if you want by simply highlighting it and pressing the delete option here, or you can keep it in there depending on your preferences and what you're using this data set for. Similarly, there are a bunch of zeros up here in location C. Again, if you don't need the zeros in your data set, you can remove them as well. But depending on your preferences and what you're using the data for, you may want to keep those zeros in. So now that we have cleaned up our data, it's time to do a little bit of formatting. And this can be done based on the type of data you have in your data set. For example, in this data set, we have numbers,
we have percentages or proportions, and we have currency. So formatting just helps sort of keep the data organized. It helps to more easily identify the type of data in the worksheet. So let's get started. So these first three columns right here are all numbers. So what we can do, you can see these ones in particular are fairly large. You can highlight them. You right-click and click on Format Cells. And here you can pick, these are all of the options for the type of data in that cell. So we are going to click on Number. It automatically will add 2 decimal places. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go down to 0. You can put as many as you want. And I'm going to use a comma to separate out the thousands. Down here, there are some other options. If you have negative numbers in your data set, it can be really helpful to select them to be a different color so that you can really easily pick them out of your data set. Click OK, and you can see that this top row here has just been cleaned up nicely. It's more easy to look at the numbers and see what they are. The proportion of females here, there are a couple different ways we can format this. So we can highlight this data, and let's say I want this to be a percentage. I can very easily just click this up here, and I have my percentages. And let's say I just want to add 1 decimal place. These buttons up here are used to increase or decrease the number of decimals really quickly. So I'm just going to add 1 decimal point to this column right here. And finally, my last column is income. So let's highlight this. There's a couple different ways that we can add currency. If you want to do it quickly, you can click this button, it'll add a $sign in front of it, or you can do a click down and you can click a different symbol for currency. Or you can do the right click again, Format Cell. Here's the currency option. And again, you have some more options here. So it will automatically add 2 decimal spaces if you want that. You can change it here again. I think I'll keep it. You can change your currency symbol here, and you can go all the way down if you wanted to add US dollars or whatever you want. And again, they have the negative number options here. So click OK. Now you can very clearly see we've got numbers in our data set, we have a percentage in our data set, and we have currency in our data set. And this final cleaned up formatted data set is a lot easier to look at. It's a lot easier to identify what data we're working with here. We don't have to worry about any duplicates being hidden in our data set anywhere. And this is just a much easier data set to work with than the one that we started with.
Now that you have a cleaned up data set that's easy to read and use, it's time to explore your data. At this stage, you will conduct a quality control check on your data. This involves checking your data for gaps, outliers, and anything that just doesn't look quite right. Simple data visualizations can help identify potential issues with data quality. For example, graphing the data can not only help you identify patterns, trends, and relationships in the data, but can also help spot data outliers and gaps. Data quality issues like data shifts and outlier data points must be investigated to determine if the dataset accurately represents what it's measuring. Data gaps must also be researched to determine the reason behind the missing data. Another important part of data exploration is documentation. For example, if you use an interpolation method to fill a data gap, you should record all calculations and the method used to estimate the missing data points. Once you've thoroughly explored your data set, you may notice that it needs some standardization. Data standardization is the process of transforming data elements into consistent, usable, common formats. This is especially important when collecting and using data from multiple sources. In this example, dataset A is organized by census division and dataset B is organized by census subdivision. Census Division A cannot be compared to census subdivisions X, Y, or Z because they're not at the same geographic level. To standardize this data set, each census subdivision in data set B is assigned to a census division. So in the example shown, census subdivisions X, Y, and Z all fall within census division B. This standardization now allows both data sets to be linked by census division and examined because they're now at the same geographic level. Once you've explored, cleaned, and standardized your data, you've completed the second step in the data journey. Our next video will focus on the third step of the data journey, which will cover data analysis, data modeling, and data interpretation. This video has been created by the Regional Analytics Laboratory at Memorial University. RANLab supports evidence-based policies for regional development through capacity building initiatives and regional economic and spatial analytics. If you have any questions related to the data journey, send us an email and we'll get back to you. Thanks.